Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you for joining me for this impromptu uh, last minute live review of Beverly Hills Cop 4 Axel F, which is currently available on Netflix. I got to watch this film twice yesterday. Um, yeah, I want to give my thoughts about this film. If you guys are going to be joining me in the chat, I also want you guys to be able to get involved in this conversation as well. Of course, before we start, if this is your first time on the channel um, or on the Instagram, make sure you hit that follow, subscribe button once the video's up and live. Make sure you guys leave a comment uh, and share with your friends so that we can bring more people into this world of the Cultured podcast. I'm your host, Keenan Jerome Floyd. You can also follow me on Instagram, all the social medias, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff at Keenan J. Floyd, which you will see down there in the corner. Also, for my people that are in Connecticut and New York City, this September 14th and 15th, I will be doing 3 shows in the area. I have 2 shows at the Elbow Room in West Hartford, Connecticut, 7 and 9 o'clock p.m. Guys, go to the link in my bio at the link tree and grab your tickets before they're gone. I mean, we still have a little bit of time before September, but make sure you guys grab those tickets because they will sell out. And then on September 15th, I will be at the St. Mark's Comedy Club in the East Village of New York City. Make sure you guys also grab those tickets as well. The link is going to be in my link in the bio as well. So now that we got that out the way, Beverly Hills Cop 4 Axel F. Of course, you know we do what we do. Let me share the trailer with you guys before
I almost admire you.
we get into the discussion.
Still on these streets, running and gunning. I'm just amazed. Doesn't get to you.
You pissed off so far?
I haven't pissed off anybody.
Yeah,
50-50
50.
Is it that high?
so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? I actually think I enjoyed the trailer more than I actually enjoyed the movie. Is that a crime to say? Because I know we're supposed to be, I'm supposed to be in love with Eddie Murphy for all that he's done. But I'm going to be quite honest with you. I never really grew up like a hard Eddie Murphy fan. Um, he's never in my Mount Rushmore of favorite comedians. His movies, there's a few movies of his that I love, right? I love Morbid, no, Morbid. I love Norbit. I love the second Nutty Professor. Boomerang, I really like. And I like Shrek. Shrek 2 specifically. Now, when it comes to Beverly Hills Cop, those movies, against popular belief, I mean, everyone that grew up with Eddie Murphy, everyone that grew up watching Beverly Hills Cop swear that they're the best movies to ever hit celluloid. But I didn't necessarily grow up in an Eddie Murphy house. So when I first saw the first Beverly Hills Cop, it was fine. But you know, the entire shtick of, oh, you don't like because I'm black, it gets old quick. That's like the entire shtick of the first 2 Beverly Hills Cop movies. And the the Beverly Hills Cop movies I actually liked, or the one movie I actually liked, was Beverly Hills Cop 3, and supposedly that's the worst Beverly Hills Cop movie according to Beverly Hills Cop fans. Now, the reason I like Beverly Hills Cop 3 is because that was the movie I felt actually had like a coherent plot and actually had cool action sequences. And it was directed by someone that directed one of my favorite movies, The Blues Brothers. It was directed by John Landis. And I don't know, like as a movie, I guess as a non Beverly Hills Cop fanatic, just a person coming into the equation and just watching the movies for what it is, I feel like that Beverly Hills Cop 3 was better than the first and second. I know, controversial take according to the Beverly Hills Cop diehards, but I don't know. It is what it is. So I finally got a chance to sit down and check out the new movie on Netflix. It's called Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. And it was entertaining, but I think it was also good that it was on Netflix because I don't know how many people will actually go to the movies to check out this one, especially how close it opened. It would have opened behind Bad Boys 4. And what's ironic about this is that Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop are from the same producer. They're both from Jerry Bruckheimer. Both released in the same year. Both have the same cast members, but they're older. Both about black cops. Um, so I think it would have eaten up some of the same audience. Now, I will say that I think I enjoyed Bad Boys 4 more than I enjoyed Bad Beverly Hills Cop 4. Now that's again, I think it's because I never really grew up watching Beverly Hills Cop. I really didn't grow up watching Beverly Hills Bad Boys either, but I uh I watched much more Will Smith than I watched Eddie Murphy. And I also think Bad Boys 4 was funnier than Bad Beverly Hills Cop 4. So what happens in this movie? Well, a lot of nostalgia happens in this movie. The film opens up with Eddie Murphy driving through the streets of Detroit, and the theme of this entire scene is fuck you, Foley. You know, he's been a cop for 30, 40 years at this point, 40 years, and everybody knows him. And he drives down the street. He's still a detective. He's still wearing his Detroit Lions jacket. He's just older, and everyone is basically telling him to go fuck himself. The Heat is On, which actually played in the first Beverly Hills Cop opening sequence. I don't remember if it was in the second one, but this is basically like the opening theme. It's like the Star Wars opening theme song. It's like this iconic song that we recognize as being the Beverly Hills Cop opening theme song. So that's playing as he's driving down the street. Then immediately we see that he's heading towards a Detroit Red Wings hockey game. And he's sitting there with a new detective on the force. Well, the detective's been on the force for 5 years, and we never see him again. This is the only time that we see this detective in the movie, this opening scene, and they're sitting there watching the hockey game. And this detective is a huge fan of Axel Foley's. So he thinks that Axel wants to hang out with him, but not really. He's there to investigate a robbery that's about to happen. And there's this joke in the middle of their conversation where the guy's like, "Oh, I had no idea." The other detective's white, by the way. He says, "I had no idea that you wanted to hang out with me at a hockey game, especially because," and then that's when Eddie Murphy does this because I'm black shtick. Where he goes, "Oh, well, you just assumed that I didn't want to come because I'm black." And then he dropped some knowledge where he said, "You don't know anything about the Negro Hockey League or the Colored Hockey League." And the guy's like, What are you talking about?" And I appreciate that because it's actually a real thing. The Colored Hockey League was founded in Nova Scotia in 1895 after hockey was founded in 1875. So that was actually pretty cool that they dropped that. They dropped that piece of education, black education in the movie. So they stopped the heist. There's a car chase where they're driving a snowplow after these guys are going through Detroit in ATVs. And I mean, it's cool. It's cool. It's fine. It's not it's no Bad Boys 2 chasing where the cars are being pushed off the truck. I mean, it's cool. It's fine. But then at the same time, when you go and you look at other Beverly Hills Cop movies, the action sequences in those movies aren't extraordinary either. They're moving, to be honest with you. So, I mean, that's cool. Then we cut over to Los Angeles where Axel Foley's daughter, Jane Saunders, played by Taylor Page, lives. She's a lawyer. She's estranged as well from Axel Foley. So she's trying to exonerate a dude named San Enriquez, I think. Yeah, Sam Enriquez. He's being tried. He's being charged with the murder of a cop who she suspects is dirty. So basically, she says, "I'll take your case pro bono. I'll prove that this cop is dirty, and I'll clear your name." Immediately afterwards, someone shows up and threatens her life by pushing her car over the edge of a parking garage, but it's hooked up to a towing machine, to a tow truck, and she's dangled off the side of this parking garage. So, Judge, what's his name? The guy from the white guy from the original movie, Judge Reinhold. Now he's a private investigator. He's not a cop anymore. He's a private investigator. He finds out what happens. He shows up, finds out what happens to Axel's daughter. Then he calls Axel in Detroit and says, "Yo, your daughter's in danger. Get over here to Beverly Hills." And then Eddie Murphy. Axel goes to Beverly Hills. I don't know. Judge Reinhold, who plays what's his name? What's this guy's name in the movie? What's his name? I can't even find his name. His name is who? I'm like looking up his name online and it won't even take me direct. Okay. Billy Rosewood. Thank you, Google. Billy Rosewood. Billy Rosewood. That's who Judge Reinhold plays. He's also investigating this case, right? And he's kidnapped, and we don't see him for the rest of the movie. Axel shows up in Los Angeles, goes to Beverly Hills. Of course, he goes to Billy's office. It's being ransacked by some people in it. We don't know who they are yet. And a chase scene occurs where Axel Foley he confronts a black woman meter maid who has an attitude. I mean, I don't want to say it, but they kind of nailed like some black women in LA. I've experienced it. So, I mean, I don't know. It was a funny joke to me. He gets in one of those parking meter maid little carts, chase scene through Beverly Hills, which to me, I enjoyed because first of all, fuck you, Beverly Hills. Fuck you, Beverly Hills. I loved how he was almost running those bougie people over and stuff. Like they were jumping out the way, jumping in the fountains, grabbing their chihuahuas and little dogs and moving out the way. Good for you. Good for you, Eddie Murphy. Fucking up Beverly Hills. Fuck Beverly Hills. But He ends up crashing, gets arrested. He gets actually one of the cops is played by Eddie Murphy's daughter, which is funny. They take him to Beverly Hills PD, and he meets Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who plays Detective Abbott. And basically, he's like, "Yo, I want to talk to Tagger. He's my old partner. He's my old friend." And he's like, "I can't let you go because you are horrible." And we find out that Detective Abbott, was in a relationship with his daughter. He finally hooks up with his daughter. It's very clear that she has daddy issues. She has a white ex-boyfriend. She's successful. She's a lawyer. She's a typical LA successful black woman. We're introduced to we're reintroduced to Taggart, and we're introduced to Kevin Bacon's character named Grant, Chief Grant. And of course, you already can tell from the beginning that this guy's a bad guy. Like, I knew he was a bad guy as soon as I saw him in that suit, because you don't introduce a character like this unless he's a corrupt cop. Um, so long story short, Alex Foley wears the same clothes throughout the whole movie. Kevin Bacon tries to turn Axel Foley and Janie, Axel Foley's estranged daughter, against one another, uh, through, saying that she's defending a cop killer. He uses his corruption in the police department, and at the end of the day, he kidnaps Janie. They have a shootout, Scarface style, in his mansion, and then they finally kill Kevin Bacon, and they stop the drugs and exonerate her client, and they mend their relationship. And then they do a nostalgia play at the end where Eddie Murphy's hanging out with Taggart and Woodward in the car as they sit outside the hospital because Eddie Murphy has been shot. And they do the classic three dudes in a car like they did in the first Beverly Hills Cop. And the movie's over. There's a lot that happens in this movie, but it nothing really memorable happens in this movie. Some of the themes that I picked up on is they really hit the theme of therapy for black men and generational trauma through the relationship of Eddie Murphy and his estranged daughter. She's always bringing up things like their mother divorced. When Eddie Murphy and his wife got divorced, she ended up getting raised in Los Angeles, I believe, and Eddie Murphy stayed in Detroit. The reason that Axel Foley gave was because there was a crime family, or there was a mafia in Detroit that was threatening to kill his family, so he decided to move his family out into California, and I guess that's where like Billy Woodward and Taggart were like looking after him while he stayed in Detroit. I don't know why they never really give a reason why Axel Foley loves Detroit so much. I mean, I'm not from Detroit. And I know people from Detroit are very protective of their city. So I'm not going to say too much about people that are from Detroit being upset from Detroit. I mean, I've been to have I yeah, I've been to Detroit. It's a nice city. Um but they never really established a reason why Axel Foley would not move from Detroit to California, considering the movie is called Beverly Hills Cop. Like the movie's called Beverly Hills Cop. Like, I'm sure he would be fine. Um, I'm sure he would be fine as a police officer in Beverly Hills, considering that he's always in Beverly Hills. Anyway, so they address that. They have this estranged relationship. He has not talked to his daughter in 5 or 6 years. They say that it's mostly his fault, but they never really give a reason why it's his fault. They never really give a reason why he stopped talking to her either. Um, like, I guess they insinuate that uh they insinuate that she stopped talking to him, but then she was like, "Well, you stopped talking to us. So what's up with that?" So I really wasn't clear on the reason that they stopped talking. Um I do like the idea that they have of therapy, black people going to therapy. Of course, they have the whole thing where, of course, Janie um, has gone to therapy, and Axel Foley's trying to insinuate that he went to therapy. I wish they would have actually, you know what? I wish they would have explored their relationship a little bit more. It was too typical of a plot. And what I mean by that is that usually in movies like this, usually these type of characters are motivation for the main character. And it's usually the main character has someone that's close to them, like some type of family or whatever, and then they get kidnapped by the bad guy and they're used as like a pawn to call the character to action. Um I just wish that there was a little bit more to their relationship so that we could actually care a little bit more. I mean, that's my opinion. Um they basically try to pull a lethal weapon considering most of the main characters, all of the main characters are old. Um there's a scene that's reminiscent of the similar scene in the first Beverly Hills Cop where he goes into an expensive hotel and he basically lies about who he is to get a free room. And he attempts to do that this time, but he's basically like, "Yo," he pulls a Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. He goes, "Yo, I'm too old for this. Let's just give me a room so I can get some sleep." Um, I do find it interesting how Hollywood always they cast black people that are in interracial relationships in real life with black significant others in movies and TV shows, but they cast black people that are in black relationships in real life and interracial relationships in movies and TV shows. I always find that interesting because, like in this movie, Janie, she dated Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but in real life, she's married to a black dude. And there's been other movies where, except for Zendaya, but there's been other movies where people are like married to like black to like white dudes, but then in their TV shows they're like in love with. I don't know. I found that interesting. Um, a couple cool scenes that I did like. I did like the opening chase scene with the snowplow. I'm kind of miffed because there's actually a movie that I'm writing that has a snowplow chase scene, and that's going through a blizzard in New York City. However, I do feel that after seeing the scene, I think my scene's a little better. Um, f- uh, Detective Abbott is said to have been a helicopter pilot for the LAPD, but they really didn't explore that at all, except for the scene where they're escaping from the LA, the police department through with the helicopter. And we find out that Joseph Gordon-Levitt really can't fly, so they're flying through downtown. It looks like. Which my question is, how did they fly the helicopter? Considering he was so bad at it, how did they fly the helicopter so fast from downtown to Beverly Hills? Considering he was only flying 5 feet above the ground. They crash land the helicopter in the golf course, and of course, the most Beverly Hills response ever. A dude says, "This is private property. Like you can't park that here." And then there was a really funny scene, which is like totally relatable when they approach Affion Crockett, who plays a valet, and Eddie Murphy does the whole, "Hey brother, can you help me out?" Usually when a black person goes to another black person at their job and they go, "Hey brother," that means that they're trying to they're trying to see if they can get that black person to put their job on the line. So basically, Eddie Murphy's like, "Hey, my brother, can you just give us a car to steal?" Look, Affion Crockett's character would definitely have been fired, especially if you're a black valet working at a country club. Um, The villain, Kevin Bacon, Grant, not a good villain. Not a good villain whatsoever. We didn't really see him do anything bad. I mean, it was all implied, it was all insinuated, but there was really not a lot of reason to hate him. I guess being a corrupt cop is bad enough, but even still, I don't even really know what his motivation was. I don't know why he got the undercover cop killed. I don't know why he framed the boy for the murder. I don't know why really he's trying to kill Eddie Murphy, other than the fact that he's investigating him. Not a good enough reason. Not strong enough. I didn't hate the character enough. I didn't know a lot about his motivation. Not a good enough reason. Billy gets kidnapped. The Judge Reinhardt character, Reinhold's character, he gets kidnapped, but we don't see him the whole movie. He gets kidnapped at the beginning, and then we don't see him until the end. So we really don't know what's going on with him. I don't know why I should really care. They find him at the end, but it's not like it's not like it's not a big moment. Usually in movies like this, especially when you're doing a nostalgia play, you want to have like a big moment where emotionally you kind of the emotional bubble pops, you know? Um it just wasn't here. It just wasn't in the movie. Um so it was just it felt like anticlimactic, right? Then we finally get to the finale where they go to a mansion which is reminiscent of the first Beverly Hills Cop, and they try to do the nostalgia play, but all of these characters are old. Eddie Murphy's old, uh Taggart, Woodward, they're all old. So they're not so and to be fair, the action sequences in other Beverly Hills Cops movies, with the exception of Beverly Hills Cop 3, are not that spectacular either. And I'm almost thinking that if this movie hadn't come out so close to Bad Boys 4, it might have been forgivable. But it wasn't like it wasn't extraordinary. Like it wasn't like the boys are back in town. You understand what I'm saying? Like it wasn't an emotional pop. It was these old guys, they go into this mansion, they hide behind some rubble, they shoot, they run out of ammo almost immediately. And the person that really saved the day was Joseph Gordon-Levitt, to be honest with you. I mean, he had two scenes where he was just blowing people away. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think, probably killed like 25 people in this movie. And Axel Foley killed 2, maybe. What I'm almost thinking of trying to do a spinoff with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Taylor Page. Call it because the guy's name is Bobby Abbott. Call it Beverly Hills Bobby or something, because that's what they said in the movie, Beverly Hills Bobby. I don't know. It just felt, it didn't pop for me. It didn't pop. Like the way it was shot, maybe the finale could have been choreographed a little bit better. Maybe there could have been more lines that were more, snappy. But it didn't pop. It didn't pop for me. It's such a weird thing. Now I won't necessarily say that this movie is a disappointment because I wasn't expecting much from it. But, I don't necessarily know if I would have gone to see this in the theaters. Now I saw Bad Boys 4 twice. They do one thing in the movie that I also don't like. I don't like when they do exposition of things that they set up in the beginning at the end of the movie. Meaning they set up all of these different goals that have to be satisfied. Like she has to get her client off the murder charge. She they have to find Billy. They have to figure out who the corrupt cop is. They have to I don't like when they do exposition at the end where they're like, "Oh, by the way, my client is having all the charges dropped against him," or whatever, right? Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just desensitized to big action sequences. And at the end of the day, the main theme I think of this movie outside of generational trauma is that Alex Foley is old. He's in the hospital at the end of the movie, for God's sake, because he got shot in the shoulder. Alex Foley is old, and that's it. I mean, they say they're coming out with the Beverly Hills Cop 5, or they're putting together ideas of Beverly Hills Cop 5. I mean, we'll have to see how that goes. I would recommend. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I might come up with an idea and pitch it. Yeah, if you're looking for a screenwriter for Beverly Hills Cop 5, give me a month and then holla at your boy. Yep. So those are my thoughts of the new Beverly Hills Cop Axel F film. Have you guys seen it? What do you guys think of the movie? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. But I would love to get your thoughts. You guys let me know in the comments. Again, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, you can follow me across all social media platforms at Keenan J. Floyd. Make sure to check out those tickets for my shows in Connecticut and New York City. Link in the bio at my link tree. And also make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that bell for notification. Thank you for joining me for this really short impromptu review, and you guys have a good weekend.